One thing about Cavaliers and Cocker Spaniels is that they shed like crazy. Willow, where'd you go? Oh, she's under my desk. Do you shed like mad? You do. You really do. Okay, are we gonna take a thumbnail? How's this gonna go? Okay. Oh, my arm. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today, my dog Willow is going to be picking my TBR, but before I bring her up here, I want to tell you guys the books that I will be having her pick. So I did a video like this probably a year ago with my dog Willow, where she picked my TBR for a readathon, and currently, I am having a really hard time picking my next read. I don't know what I want to read. I have an idea. I have a selection of books that I'm going to go through and show you guys, and then Willow is going to be picking the exact book that I will be starting to read today. And I'm very excited because I've been filming a lot of person picks my TBR. I did one with my mom and one with my dad, and then I previously did one with Willow, like I said last year, and they have been so much fun. But the two books that my parents picked out for me, I have yet to read, and I feel very bad. So they are on this list. The first one is Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica Wu, and the next one that my dad picked is Phineas by John Knowles, and I really want to read these. I just haven't prioritized them, and I feel bad because I said that I would read them. So Willow might possibly pick one of them. I also have 3 other books that I want to show you, but first, I thought instead of reading the synopsis or trying to explain what these books are about because I haven't read them yet, I thought I would just read like the first little bit of each one so that you and I can get a taste of what the writing is like and how the story opens. I feel like sometimes that can be really fun to do without like reading a synopsis, just reading the first part of the book. So it begins by saying, "When we left the hotel, it was raining. A light, fine rain, as can sometimes happen in Tokyo in October. I said that where we were going was not far. We would only need to get to the station, the same one that we had arrived at yesterday, and then catch 2 trains and walk a little down some small streets until we got to the museum. I got out my umbrella and opened it and pulled up the zipper of my coat. It was early morning and the street was filled with people, most walking away from the station rather than towards it as we were. All the while, my mother stayed close to me, as if she felt that the flow of the crowd was a current, and that if we separated, we would not be able to make our way back to each other, but continue to drift further and further apart. The rain was gentle and consistent, and left a fine layer of water on the ground, which was not asphalt, but a series of small square tiles, if you cared enough to notice." Okay, those descriptions are incredible. I remember I did read the first paragraph when I picked out this book in the store, and I love those descriptions. And just the rain, I feel like that's so atmospheric, and I could like feel the words. I could feel and hear the rain. Very excited about this one. I really feel like I'm going to love it. And I've been in the mood for some literary fiction, so I don't really have classics here. I have like 2 modern classics, and the other one is Phineas. I think it's like the story that inspired a separate piece by John Knowles, or a story that he wrote after a separate piece. I should say that A Separate Piece by John Knowles is one of my favorite, I would call it a modern classic. One of my favorite modern classics. It's so beautiful, and I highly recommend it. But I'm really excited to read Phineas because Phineas is one of the main characters in A Separate Piece. Okay, it begins by saying, "It was dusk. The warm air of the early spring afternoon was edged with an exhilarating chill, and in the half-light the dark green turf of the playing field acquired the smooth perfection of a thick rug, spreading up to the thin woods lightly brushed with color along one sideline, and down to the river, with the stolid little bridge arching over it along the other. Across the stream more playing fields, appearing smoother still in the distance, sloped gently up to the square gray shapes of the gymnasium, and behind it the towers and turrets of the boys' school were etched against the darkening blue sky." Again, we have some beautiful imagery. A way to my literary heart is through beautiful imagery. Probably because I am an illustrator, and when I read books and there's beautiful imagery, I kind of picture it as an illustration or as a painting. And I think that was very beautiful, so I'm also very excited to read this one. I will feel less guilty because I will finally have read the 2 books that my parents picked out for me. Okay, and then the next one So it is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. I just watched, it came out last week, the season 2 of Heartstopper. If you guys have been here for a little while, you know I am a huge fan of the graphic novels Heartstopper, and I'm not really a big young adult reader, but my favorite young adult author is Alice Oseman. I just think she is, like, in a league of her own, and I love her stories, I love her writing, and Heartstopper, season 2 is incredible. I, like, don't even want to talk about it because I don't know what to say. Like, everything about it was perfect. I have been listening to the soundtrack, I have already rewatched it. Like, it is, my sister and I are obsessed with it, and it is just such a beautiful, beautiful show. And yeah, and now I really want more Heartstopper. So I was contemplating, I think I am going to reread Volume 4 because Season 2 covers what happens in Volume 3. But anyway, I'm really in the mood for an Alice Oseman novel, and so this has nothing to do with Heartstopper, although all her books take place in the same universe. But I've been reading all of her books in order. I started with Solitaire, and then I read Radio Silence, Nick and Charlie, and This Winter, and they all follow, like, the same characters in the same universe, well, different characters in the same universe, and they kind of, like, interconnect. And the next book that I'm up to is I Was Born for This, and then the only one that I have left after that is Loveless. Anyway, I really want to read more Alice Oseman, and I'm kind of in the mood for some, like, a quick read. I Was Born for This, I think, follows multiple perspectives, and it's about this, like, girl who really loves this band, and it's about, like, it's in the perspective of the main character and the band members, or one of the band members, I'm not exactly sure. But it starts with our main character, Angel, in her perspective, and it says, there's Willow, she's ready to pick out these books. Okay, so this is Angel's perspective, and she says, I'm literally dying, I say, putting my hand on my heart. You're real. Juliet, having just escaped my hug, is smiling so hard it looks like she might tear her face in half. So are you, she says, and gestures to my body. This is so weird, but cool. Theoretically, this shouldn't be awkward. I've been talking to Juliet Schwartz for 2 years. On the internet only, yeah, but internet friends aren't that different from real ones nowadays. And Juliet knows more about me than my closest school friends. You're a physical being, I say, and not just some pixels on a screen. Okay, this is so funny because this is, like, so much like my experience being best friends with Emma from her YouTube channel, Emmy. She and I met for the first time in September of last year, and I went to visit her in Toronto, and that was our literal exchange at the airport when she picked me up. It was like, you're a real human being! And it's so weird, but so wonderful. And this really reminds me of me and Emma, because we were internet friends that met for the first time. So anyway, I am really excited about this one. So we will see if Willow picks it. And then the second to last one is The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa, and I have really been wanting to read this book for a very long time. I bought it a few months ago and I haven't picked it up yet. We called him the Professor and he called my son Root, because he said the flat top of his head reminded him of the square root sign. There's a fine brain in there, the professor said, mussing my son's hair. Root, who wore a cap to avoid being teased by his friends, gave a wary shrug. With this one little sign, we can come to know an infinite range of numbers, even those we can't see. He traced the symbol of the thick layer of dust on his desk, and then he made the square root sign. It's at the bottom of the page. It was March of 1992 when the Akebono housekeeping agency first sent me to work for the professor. At the time, I was the youngest woman registered with the agency, which served a small city on the inland sea, although I already had more than 10 years of experience. I managed to get along with all sorts of employers, and even when I managed to clean for the most difficult clients, the ones no other housekeeper would touch, I never complained. I prided myself on being a true professional. Okay, that also sounds wonderful. I already like the character relationships between the housekeeper, her son, and the professor. It's just established right at the very beginning. And I love these editions too, they're so beautiful. So I really, really have been wanting to read this one for a very long time. I'm really excited about all of these books. And then I think the one that I'm most excited about is the last one, is this one. And it's The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. So I read Never Let Me Go for the first time last year, and it became one of my all-time favorite books, and it made me sob my eyes out. And that's one thing about me, where if a book can rip my heart out and make me cry, it will become an all-time favorite. So after falling in love with Never Let Me Go and talking about it to you guys, so many people have told me that The Remains of the Day is even better or is their favorite. Like, Never Let Me Go is amazing. It's usually people either saying that Never Let Me Go is their favorite or The Remains of the Day is their favorite. And I really want to read The Remains of the Day, and I haven't read an Ishiguro book yet this year, and I really want to read at least one book of his a year. So I think it's time. Yes, I'm so excited about this book, and I'm kind of nervous. I really hope that I'm going to love it. I mean, there's like kind of no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to love it. So it begins by saying, "It seems increasingly likely that I really will undertake the expedition that has been preoccupying my imagination for some days. An expedition, I should say, which I will undertake alone, in the comfort of Mr. Faraday's Ford. An expedition which, as I foresee it, will take me through much of the finest countryside of England to the West Country, and may keep me away from the Darlington Hall for as much as 5 or 6 days. The idea of such a journey came about, I should point out, from a most kind suggestion put to me by Mr. Faraday himself, one afternoon almost a fortnight ago, when I had been dusting the portraits in the library. In fact, as I recall, I was up on the step-ladder, dusting the portrait of Viscount Weatherby, when my employer had entered carrying a few volumes which he presumably wished to return to the shelves. On seeing my person, he took the opportunity to inform me that he had just that moment finalized plans to return to the United States for a period of 5 weeks between August and September. Oh wow! Perfect timing. Having made this announcement, my employer put his volumes down on a table, seated himself on the chaise lounge, and stretched out his legs. It was then, gazing up at me, that he said, "You realize, Stevens, I don't expect you to be locked up here in this house all the time I'm away. Why don't you take the car and drive off somewhere for a few days? You look like you could make use of a break." You look like you can make good use of a break. So I believe it is about this butler who has worked for this this wealthy family for a very long time, and I think it's their relationship. I don't want to know too much about it. I kind of want to be pleasantly surprised. I went into Never Let Me Go not knowing anything, and I think that's how everybody should read Never Let Me Go, is not really knowing anything. But yes, that beginning sounds wonderful. We're already setting the stage, getting the atmosphere of the story, which I really like. So those are the 5 books that Willow will be picking from. I am just going to lay them out on the floor. So in my other video that Willow picked my TBR, I put the books on the floor, and then I got treats. I got her treats, and I put a treat on each one of the books, and whatever book she goes to first will be the book that I will read. So I'm going to set up the books and the treats, and then get Willow, and she'll pick out what book I will read. I hope this angle isn't extremely weird, but we have to do something so that you guys can see. Can you see this? I think you can. Okay. I'm going to get treats, put them on the books, and then I'll get Willow. Think we're good. Just gonna move them over a little bit. Okay. There we go. I have some extra treats. Time to get Willow. Good girl. Can you face this way? Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hello. Can you lay down for me? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you're gonna pick my books. You remember doing this last time? Come here. Okay, I'm gonna show them to her so that she sees. Okay, Willow, do you see the treats? Hold on. You're gonna pick one out, okay? Alright, so I held her, last time I held her back and then I let her go. Okay. Ready? Set. Go! Okay. Alright, she picked Cold Enough for Snow. Alright, let's try one more time and just see where she goes, because I don't know if it's because that's the first book that I showed her. Ready? Set? Go! Yay! Okay. Alright, you can have all of them. So she picked Cold Enough for Snow, and then I Was Born for This. Good girl, Willow! Good girl! Good girl! Here. You want to show them some party tricks? You don't really know that many. Come here. Come here. Sit. Paw. Thank you. You lay down. Good girl. Leave it. Leave it. Okay. That's about it. That's all that you know, right? Right? Good girl. We're gonna read together? Alright, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you. Willow just turned 2 on August 7th, and I can't believe it because I feel like it was just yesterday that I brought her onto my channel for the first time, and I showed you guys that I got a puppy. Now she's so big. Look how big you are. You're so big. You're a big girl, right? You're 2 years old. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you so much. Alright, well, she picked Cold Enough for Snow. Now maybe I'll read the back so that you guys can hear what it's about more. I have a hair on my mouth. It says, Cold Enough for Snow is an elegant and subtle exploration of the mysteries of our relationships to others. Mother and daughter travel from abroad to Tokyo. They walk along the canals through the autumn evenings, escape the typhoon rains, share meals in small cafes and restaurants, and visit galleries to see some of the city's contemporary art. All the while they talk about weather, horoscopes, clothes, and objects, about family, distance, and memory, but uncertainties abound. Hello. Okay. Who is really... Where am I? Okay. Who is really speaking, and what is the real reason for this elliptical, perhaps even spectral journey? At once a careful reckoning and an elegy, Cold Enough for Snow questions whether any of us speak a common language, which dimensions can contain love, and what claim we have to truly know another's inner world. I think that sounds wonderful, so I'm very excited to read it, and it's only about like 95 pages, which is good, is very good, because I've been quite distracted lately and been doing a lot of work on my own writing, and so I think short books are the way to go for now. Anyway, thank you so much, Willow, for picking out my book and kind of forcing me to finally read this book because my mom picked it out for me like a few months ago. So anyway, you are getting heavy. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed seeing Willow again. Let me know what books you're currently reading. I would love to know. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you soon in another video. And happy reading! Can you say happy reading? No. No, she can't. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.